Right, great setup and great to be here. We're talking about AI. It's a double-edged chip and stuff. No, so while me and Niyar were having a conversation, and the stakes are really high here, and AI is both an ace and a wild card. And I'll quickly set the context. We have seen, and I'll divert from the casino theme to the equity markets stuff. We have seen the global stock markets crash because of subprime crisis. We saw the COVID pandemic hitting the markets down. We have seen wars and conflicts bringing the market down. But in early 2025, there was an exception. We saw the market, the Nasdaq, I'm referring to the US Nasdaq market, falling down by 3% during the late January this year. And NVIDIA, which is one of the leading players in the AI space, tanked 17% that day. And the only reason for this was the launch of DeepSeek from China, the AI assistant, that caused this whole shift in the stock markets. While we are not here to discuss equities, what is that is worrying you, and what is worrying CISOs in this room here when we talk about AI? Because it gives us lots of opportunities, but there are concerns as well.
Well, Ashwin, we have been in this space for the last few years now, and before my new role as a MD CEO, I was heading 63 Moons Technology as a CIO and security teams for the last 15 years.
Right.
And a large team of around 800 developers that have unique IP products that we take out from our stable. Our worry was always, for the past couple of years, is the fast adoption of AI and random adoption of AI. We were the first when the board started pushing us. Likewise, when we talk with other CISOs, they tell us that there's a constant pressure on to do something with AI in the company. And then they pick up a model, they see the best or the fastest vendor who would deploy it. And it goes on. And over the studies that we are now having a complete dedicated security team which monitors types of AI attacks. We did a good research on DeepSeek when it was launched. We checked the red teaming report. We saw the chemical biology CBRN test on how the cybersecurity questions when asked. What is the legal sanctity to the answer that it should throw back? Yeah, we saw DeepSeek was absolutely non-controlled. Yeah, we would actually use the mature engines are now giving you a very controlled environment. You can't ask them, how do you make a bomb? Yeah, you can't. But we see that this attacks now, there's so many types of models of threat vectors which are coming in.
Right. So we talked about data poisoning and adversarial models and adversarial attacks and model inversions, I believe. What is that attack that should really bother the CISOs in this room?
I feel security is catching up. Everyone is alert. We have, I talk with a lot of CISOs and they're doing the right steps. But model inversion, the latest that we see, is mind-boggling. It does not attack the server. It actually, whatever security measures that you put in, model inversion is like asking the small right questions and taking the confidence of the AI system in coaxing it to tell you or slowly about information that the attacker does not have. An example that I will give you about model inversion is regarding the latest CNET. What happened with CNET is CNET started an editorial where they started AI generated articles. And they were not thoroughly checked. And because it was on finance domain, how to close a bank account, how do you make more money in funds, these they found out were giving misleading information. Using a little bit of hallucination, they could not actually control it. They had to stop the program and then wipe out and actually study what goes out only for editorial. And it's not limited there. ANI in India did a lawsuit of 2 crore on ChatGPT. Yeah, and this is because ChatGPT fabricated an interview of an Indian politician, which never happened. So you have to be very careful. But this model inversion is something how you start talking and telling the AI. Of course, there are ways to counter it. The easiest way is to have a human interaction or someone who monitors the thing. But you have very good guidelines coming out from NIST. These guidelines are the basic framework that should be followed, but in the mad rush on getting on board and starting the model and showing a good picture,
Absolutely.
these are lost.
Right. So while you spoke about the concerns and in terms of not verifying the articles and citing the example of CNET, now Grok is the new entrant here, and we've just read about the white genocide, or that they have been talking about. Again, purely misinformation at its peak. How do we deal with such kind of situations where the owner of that particular
See, the overall, actually, the overall market of AI, people are learning. This is the next thing, and this will get matured only over time. Grok, which came out just 2 days back, their attack was on the South African white genocide. Where once Elon Musk tweeted that he supported that, and the chatbot of X started picking up and started giving random answers which were not related at all. They had to completely shut it down and check where the learning is happening.
True. Right. Initially, you mentioned that you've been with the company for around 17 years now, and primarily the company has been an IP-based, IP-driven enterprise. While we talk about enterprise security a lot, there are concerns around the citizens. They have been, especially if we look at the last year,
Right.
the report from I4C, says that around 11,000 crores have been duped or taken away from citizens of the country. Now, in that scenario, how are you trying to protect the citizens here from phishing, from voice cloning, from deepfake attacks? Are there any new
Yes.
solutions from your stable?
So we will be in the month of July. We have been working for the past couple of years on a solution, an app, which we did not find that we could adapt to the Indian conditions. We had to develop it. And this app would be called CYBX, launching in July. An app which protects your cell phone from 103 types of attacks.
Right.
Phishing, it works on iOS, it works on Android. 103. It has AI engine inbuilt. It stops zero-day attacks because it's not signature-based. And man in the middle, cell phone interception, even rogue towers. You have 103 to the topmost level that it can stop a Pegasus level attack.
Right.
Yeah.
So data privacy, how do you address that aspect?
So we were looking at communication of Indians. If you see, Android has by default recording facility.
Right.
Yeah, you can enable for all call recording, and we could see that we could not do. And then we were thinking, how do we stop this? We need some privacy, right, when you talk. Then iPhone started recording your calls. We gave you a button to record calls. Then I said, wow, you're thinking the right way. So we developed an encrypted engine. If you have both the apps talking, it would be completely encrypted.
Right.
We do not allow the local resources any recording rights. And to go a step further, you could say that you could start the speakerphone and enable recording on another phone. So once you start a speakerphone, I would know that Ashwini has started speaker. It gives a notification.
Right.
To an extent that even if you connect it to a car Bluetooth, I would come to know, or an Apple AirPod.
Okay.
It's my comfort that I told Ashwini, car Bluetooth, no please. There might be people in the car.
So that respects your privacy and the mode that you want to communicate with people.
Yes, we do.
Right. But what if that is also bypassed and hacked? Then what solution do we have there?
Still, because there is no 100% security, right? So what the icing that we get on the app is it took us 6 months to test with the insurance underwriters on how secure the app is. And with that, we are now starting an insurance for cell phone cybercrime.
Okay.
Yeah, right from 10,000, which is UPI based, to 10 lakh rupees for high-end HNI users. Everything with one subscription of the app comes in.
Like any more details that you want to share on the cyber insurance space, because that's one space that not very most of them have forayed into or into.
So once we did this exercise with 3 insurance providers, they could understand the security part, and then we went into the B2B part of their insurance. We compared around 7 insurance companies which give company-based insurance, and if you see the checklist that they have, the questions that they ask you, These questions are actually derived from a physical insurance. There is no similarity between the questions.
Right.
So what we are now coming up is a scale where we rate a company from 0 to 10, and we tell before an insurance we do a gap assessment for them and give the company a rating from 0 to 10. If it's 8 or 9, the premium goes down drastically. Or if it's 1 or 2, they understand the risk is very high, so the premium goes up very high.
Right. Well, any questions that we have here, for Nihar here, if there are any questions, we have a couple of minutes left. Not active. So, right, coming back to the topic of AI, while you've spoken about the concerns, the challenges, and you've cited examples of what's happening around, what are some of the guardrails that enterprises should need to have, considering that it also presents a lot of opportunities?
Yeah, there are times that you cannot live without AI. I'll give you an example which I often do is nowadays everyone before going to a doctor, always does a chat GPT or a Google of what are the symptoms and goes to a doctor and shows it to him saying that, doctor, the internet says this, and the first thing is the doctor slaps you back saying that I'm not an internet doctor, you go to someone else, this is not how I work. But you understand that there are 18,000 medical journals which are published every year,
Right.
and 1.8 million articles are written on these journals. If you are not able, no doctor is able to read this, right? ChatGPT, OpenAI, these are the models which read this, consume this data, and give you very correct, prescribed analogy which the doctor should accept. This is the time that everyone has to accept this, otherwise they will lose behind the race. The doctor would take around 3 to 4 months of research.
Right, so quickly just winding up this conversation with a bottom line that, while AI does present a lot of opportunities, there are concerns. So it's more of jeopardy as well and the jackpot as well. So, that's the way we look at considering the theme of this, event. Right, Nihar, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Great having this conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. Thank you.